Welcome back to Prince of Persia: The Sands of Time. So,
Part 3.
yeah, part 3. Basically, now we need to proceed. Um, if you don't remember, the cutscene that showcased us this room after getting this sand cloud, it will showcase one of the libraries. These also function as a way of the game to telling you how to move objects. In this case, we need to push the libraries to reveal the one that actually covers a secret passage that allows us to progress. However, some of the libraries are have these chairs around them, so you also need to destroy them, which is also a good thing for me to mention. There are several objects in this game, like the chairs, the barrels, and everything, but they don't really serve a purpose. Sometimes they block your path, and that's just it. So you can smash all of them, but you don't gain pretty much anything. In later games, they actually start giving you sand that you can use to reverse time, so they become a bit more useful. But for now, they're just mundane stuff that you find there.
So Tio, if you do save the day, will you be right on time?
No, Darkstar, there's no just-in Timberlake in this game.
Eh?
In time.
In time.
Anyway, I think we're about to get... Oh, no, another sand cloud. But basically, dweebs, we're actually near an interesting puzzle, but there's a character that I think you're actually gonna like. But first, since the passage is broken, the bridge is broken, we now need to use the wall. Basically,
I got an
another
idea.
thing that
Let's
I
use that
forgot
carpet. Maybe it's magic.
Sorry, the wrong fairy tale. Here's basically another thing. The bookshelf actually taught you how to push things, so now you have this box that you can push and pull in different directions, but actually which is gonna be useful for the buttons. But anyway, here's this puzzle which is based on this moving platform, with these tubes, and that's the exit.
This looks like Arabia meets sci-fi.
However, as soon as you jump in the middle of the platform, you're gonna meet an actual survivor, and he's gonna tell you what to do. Emphasis on telling you. Just wait a second. Here we go.
Made it.
Oh, thank God! I was afraid you were one of them! Can you help me activate the Azad defense system?
Okay.
It'll take both of us to do it! I'll reset the axles for you! The man who's normally in charge of this got... Never mind!
Okay.
Down to the bottom!
Hold on.
Use those two cranks to bring it back up!
Basically, it's all a convoluted method of with these tubes. We need to rotate the platform and gaining again these tubes and put them in the correct order.
I guess you could say it's no tubes.
Are you even trying now?
No, that's the thing. The way this guy overacts is actually amazing.
Yeah.
Make sure you pick them up in the right order!
All right, Governor.
Hold on, he's not actually finished.
I guess this is the part where we start quoting Monty Python.
Axel! Now, pick up the other three!
And believe it or not,
sir!
the priest will actually question the logic behind this system. Alright, one lever actually rotates the platform, the other makes it move up or down.
The other one raises and lowers.
The key is to observe these tunnels in the walls and actually move the platform correctly.
Wow.
Seriously, whoever's screaming doesn't sound very good.
That's a pretty
Well,
good.
that's called Narm Charm, Darkstar.
Yeah.
Arm charm? I've never heard that one before.
It's when an actor acts so bad he's actually laughable.
I'll keep that in mind.
Castlevania and Point.
Well, not necessarily.
Fair enough. I actually like that too.
No, but I mean, yeah, in case of Symphony of the Night intro, it was more overacting than bad acting.
I'll take the PSP redub any day.
Me too, but I don't take either of them.
Mm-hmm.
There we go, 2 of them! Alright, for the remaining 2, We actually need to jiggle a bit because since now you keep in mind this, the more you tubes you get, the more difficult to handle this thing is because you have to make sure that each tube can move freely in both directions. Again,
Well,
the puzzles in this game are actually really interesting and very creative. I'll give it that.
to say
There we
whoever
go.
thought up of this is that's a pretty good security system to buy you
Yeah,
time.
much like in God of War, there's a lot of suspension of disbelief behind this because obviously Persian technology and came out this shit.
Oh, Tio, that reminds me. I have something funny to tell you later.
Then
Okay.
bring them up to the top.
I forgot when the prince actually questions it, but the guy pretty much just says, just forget about, just don't question it, just do it. There you go, now we only need the last, and then we'll need to position them correctly. The emphasis on how to do it correctly is about the symbols on them, which represents the different... Sorry.
Ah, man, dude.
Okay.
Bring out
Basically,
your
we need to align them. Yeah, we need to align them with the different symbols which correspond to the phases of the moon. It's a classic type of aligning something with a puzzle. And if you have a sharp eye, you will immediately know what to do. Basically, on this last tunnel, you can move freely, so you can just need to position them in the correct order, and that's it. There you go. Now we just need to go up one last time, and it should be fine.
I knew you could do it!
Thank you
Oh,
for the
God.
vote of confidence, sir.
There we go.
Now,
And the-
there's one last
Of course.
step. Do you see that platform? Throw your lever, and I'll throw mine.
Moin.
Okay.
There we go.
manner of machine is this?
I told you, it's the palace's defense system. Stop wasting time. Throw your
So I was right.
So, Dwibs, is this accent authentic?
Fudge.
Yeah, it's
Sort of.
the Darkstar, the famous Persian people with a clear British accent.
Of course.
And there you go. This somehow activates all the traps present in the palace.
That's right. Oh my God.
Supposedly, this should help defeating the monster. The problem is, they're just gonna be a nuisance to you. Here's the problem, a monster spawned right next to the guy, so he's dead.
You
Alas.
are dead, dead, dead.
I'm gonna miss him, I have to be honest.
Me
Yeah.
He should
too.
have been a side character.
Yeah.
It was so memorable too. That voice.
Alright, here's another thing they tell you. I'm not gonna use it immediately. I think later on I start. Oh, we're gonna actually do it immediately. You pressing the triangle button, you can do that special attack where using the dagger, the prince freezes the enemy in place, and you can then slash it 2 times in order to defeat it permanently. The problem is you don't gain any sand from it, so you just need to be careful in how to balance your attack on when to gain sand and instead when to just defeat the enemy. Here's the thing. Some enemies, like we will see a bit later on, like for example the blue guards, we should see in a bit, cannot be defeated in conventional ways.
Of course.
Best strategy with them is actually using the freeze combo attack. It just need. Oh, there you go. Yeah, when it comes to these holes, you just need to walk very carefully, very slowly on top of them. Otherwise, they activate and they inflict you damage immediately. Basically, it's kind of like a stealth thing, sorta. Basically, but the bottom line is basically recognizing the enemy type and the way to defeat him.
Metal Gear Persia.
Unfortunately, Darkstar, the only game where the stealth is actually implemented a bit more heavily is actually the third one, the Two Thrones. That actually has a killing from behind mechanic if you are sneaky enough. But when it comes to these games, the enemies are pretty much all immediately, so you cannot actually play sneaky on
So
them.
it's a little bit more believable here.
Yes and no. To be fair, the prince has a very light equipment when it comes to armor and clothes, so he could be actually sneaking around them without making noise.
Hmm.
The thing is, for some reason, he always does a bit of a metal cling whenever, for example, he lands on things or tries to grapple on stuff. So it's a bit weird when he does that, but I guess it's because he has a bit of a metal on his clothes. This is the next room. It's one of the smaller gardens. It's not that actually. Hold on, camera. It's not actually a big deal. It just needs a bit of acrobatics. But first, yeah, you got your next wave of
But of
enemies to defeat.
course.
I forgot if I already talked about these fat guys. They're basically just a small upgraded version of the one-hand sword guys, so you can just jump over them really easily, and you should be fine. The thing is, again, much like in Assassin's Creed, even though Assassin's Creed quote-unquote perfected the formula, a lot of times enemies start attacking you while you're in the middle of an attack animation. But when it comes to normal attack, when you do the jump attack, they normally stand on their ground, but sometimes they still attack you. It's a bit of a random when it comes to this. And however, when you're pushing triangle, in order to
What's that music
absorb an
playing in
enemy,
the background?
it's the soundtrack. They actually mixed a bit of traditional Persian music with small bits of electric guitar.
This is pretty cool.
They're actually gonna explain how they made it in the making of part. There actually is a small series of videos that show how to make it. And yes, Dweebs, for now, for this game, the music is actually spot on, honestly. Where Within, on the other hand, it's a story for another day. Yeah, that story also showcased that you can use the walls to your advantage. I'm gonna showcase in a later part that you can do it. Basically, pressing the X button, the cross button on near a wall, the prince just uses it as like a trampoline, and he launches himself onto the enemy, potentially knocking them on the ground regardless of their guarding. So it can be a very useful move in order to defeat enemies that guards
What
all
time are
their
you
attack
at?
all the time. 12, 55, 56, 57.
All right, I'll be at 1309.
Another thing, always check for water. When are you, Darkstar?
1309.
And click. Basically, always check for the areas if there are fountains, because you can lose your health really easily if you're not careful. So you always should be checking if there's any kind of water nearby.
Yeah, sure.
There you go. These next vision actually show how to get out of this room.
Done. I'll start the story.
And also, in case you're wondering, I'm jump cutting through the save screen because they don't take too long, but they become a bit annoying. So it's just a thing. Nothing really happens until you save. So I just cut through them. It's like 30 seconds not spent. Now here's the thing. First, we need to actually raise the pillar. In order to do so, we activate this plate here. Thankfully, again, the palace has conveniently a lot of these pressure plates on the walls that someone acrobatic can activate.
I take it you've played this dozens of times, Tio?
A couple of them. I played the original on the PS2 to a friend's house because he had it, and I really sucked in my first run. Then I played it again when I got it through this version. I'm playing the PS3 HD remaster, which I'm playing on the digital version. I took them on the PlayStation Network when it were on sales. This technically is my fifth run of this game complexly, And I don't say, well, this series is that kind of a game that if you lay it down for a good chunk of time, I'm talking about like 1 or 2 years, you actually can forget a lot of the puzzles and how they work. So you can
Just
actually
like with Zelda.
Yeah, just like with Zelda. And these actually kind of beat me in the ass these days for the time of this recording because I'm playing again Warrior Within and I forgot a lot of stuff and that game is I love so much to be punishing if you forget about stuff. But again, story for another day because I I could spend entire parts ranting about it. There we go. I think this is actually the first time. No, I actually showcased earlier. Basically, this is another hint to get to another one of those mystical fountains that enlarge your health. There you go. Again, you just need to have a keen eye in order to see potential branching paths.
Don't you mean
Now,
kunai?
No, the Dark Star Kunai is a throwing weapon with an edge, with a double-edged sword and shape. But basically, here's the thing: I don't think I'm gonna get all of them. But the only thing you get for getting all of them is an achievement / trophy in this game. When it comes instead to what these things are and how they get here, you get a very vague implication in this game, but from a fictional explanation, you get most likely an F1 sorta in the HD version of the Forgotten Sands, because you're gonna meet a character there that's kind of responsible for doing this kind of fountains thing. But for now, consider them just as Easter egg bonuses that helps you. Here's another type of trap, the buzzsaws on the walls. It's gonna become very frequent later on. You just need to, much like with the majority of the trap, you need to match your timing. However, the thing is, when you come to running through the walls or using the poles in order to swing around, you need to be extra careful because you carry the momentum. So if you are not careful, you can screw up easily in a sense that you cannot change the direction or slow down. Once you start, you cannot stop. So you need to time your thing correctly. And there's another thing, for example, for that button, the door will close after a while, so you need to also sprint towards it as fast as you can. Otherwise, this happens.
Oops.
Thankfully, from the second game onward, I think it becomes a bit of a tradition. The game gives you, with your time powers, a stop time, that was slow time mechanic, which will help you with this type of puzzle. But for this
But you
game,
still move at normal speed, right?
yeah. Just like, for example, the Flash, power of a Flash. All right. For this next one, that level, there you go. That's just what I explained with about slow traps. There we go. Just with the pressure plate, that lever controls a door that starts closing in if you're not fast enough. So basically, it's another kind of race, but of course, it's full of traps. So you need also to be careful with them.
Still
I mean,
better than that rat race we just went through.
Yeah, no, trust me, Darkstar. Compared to Battletoads, the really fair. That doesn't excuse some of the bullshit level design in some of the games, but thankfully it's not the case of the first one. Again, the reason why it manages to... Oh, hold on, actually we're gonna get our first boss fight.
Is it just weird, do these character designs look a bit silly?
It's a PS2 era trying to be...
It's
I
also
couldn't hear
very
you cut out.
And look at that, and there you go, that's the prince's father, the king of Persia itself.
So I've seen PS2 games that still look pretty serious.
This was actually a launch title, Darkstar, so...
I didn't know.
It's also that. And remember, Ubisoft back in the day did not have a lot of budget for developing these games. So there you go, the blue guards, you cannot jump over them. Need using the freeze attack. Here's a problem. The freeze attack counts as a standard attack animation, so the enemies will gang up on you while you're trying to do so. So as you can imagine, this boss fight is actually really bullshit, because you're constantly getting out on fast enemies, and you cannot take advantage of them. On top of that, it's also an escort mission, because some enemies, sometimes they can actually turn on Farah and actually try to attack her. Thankfully, doesn't always happen all the time, and she has a lengthy health bar.
Oh no!
But there you go, stuff like this happens, so let's speed up. Yeah, again, this boss battle is actually, again, honestly one of the very bullshit parts of the game. There's only another one after this, but it's really bullshit, but thankfully. So the vast majority of the game is not that punishing, but this one is one of those spots where you need to be extremely precise. Surprisingly enough, the boss itself, the king, does not attack you that much up until he remains alone. So thankfully it doesn't harass you all the time. Now the positive thing is that Farah is not completely harmless. As you can see, she has a bow and arrow. She doesn't attack that much, but when she does, they give you a slight advantage. Again, my best suggestion is draw the enemies near the water area, and when you have a small open window, drink as fast as you can in order to get all the health back.
And I'm back.
Basically, Joy was shitty, boss fight is shitty. There you go, but I just over.
Yeah, the one with the escort mission.
Yeah, basically, pretty much from this point
I'm sorry.
onward,
I know what it is to lose a father.
I'll accompany escort mission. Thankfully, it's not as bullshit as some games, but it can in some pieces. But I agree with you, Darkstar, these models, some of these facial expression did not age at all. And believe me when I say this, Darkstar.
You can tell it's a PS2 game. So.
Well, not just that. It's also got released, I think, on the Xbox and the GameCube.
But that's
And
just
here's
still think some of the PS2 games still look amazing.
Well, it
Of
does,
course,
Darkstar,
there's
but-
plenty of them. It's just that this game, I mean, I think the problem is that this game probably didn't have that much of a budget.
Not just that, again, it was an early title. Let me check when it was there. I think it was 2001.
If it was an early title, then I guess I can see why it looks rough, because, yeah, early PS2 games, they were hit and miss in the looks.
You don't understand.
The looks department, yeah.
Need that dagger to undo.
No, it's right, yeah, 2003.
Truly you must
There
be
you
a
go.
fool.
It was released, yeah, on the PlayStation 2, GameCube, Xbox, and PC.
Enemy. The sands will spread.
Yeah, there you go. Fair is basically telling us what we already know. These sands have spread like a zombie plague,
Heard it said that you
and our job is to actually get back to the hourglass and use the dagger in order to reverse time so this did not happen. The problem is, as
So
we
we have
saw,
Samurai Jack Prince of Persia edition.
Anyway, go
Kinda.
on to you.
How do you know
the
that?
problem is, as we saw, the Vizier actually got the hourglass first, and he got it on the highest tower. Of course, it has to be the highest tower. So we need to basically travel through the entire palace in
So it'll be a good old fun time, just roaming
order
around.
to get it. There you go. That's where we need to go. The highest tower. Problem is, it's not that it's not as simple as it can be. And again, Terra from this point on, Farah is gonna accompany us, but not all the time. There will be cases where, due to how the levels are constructed, the two will be separated, and we'll have to go from point A to point B through different routes. This will leave the prince alone, which, of course, it's a bit of a less of a burden. But the main problem when escort mission was annoying is that she doesn't move, like almost at all. For being an archer, she almost always stands still, never change her position, and that's why enemies tend to gang up on her relatively easy.
So she has very questionable AI.
Not necessarily, again, still better than Eco, which apparently, from what we have, I think it's from a couple of interviews, but the makers of this game actually took inspiration from it.
I've never played Eco, so I wouldn't understand.
You should to get an idea, but don't expect incredible great things.
Play Last Guardian instead.
Well, remember,
Give
it doesn't
Eco a
have
try, but yeah.
There we go. And once again, the key to know when all the enemies are, you don't have any more enemies in the area, is that when the prince does that slow-mo, putting the weapons back. And that sand cloud that is forming there is composed from the sands freed from the enemies and forms your save point / vision thing. But surprising enough, from what Ferrites told us, these things seem to be dangerous because the prince passes out after each vision for quite a while, for like 10 minutes or something. So there may be something more behind it. But again, we don't know. And there you go. Last enemy of this area.
Now what?
Well, take a wild guess, Farah.
What are you? Stop!
Speaking of Ubisoft, I don't know too much about them.
We
French
started.
They
developers.
used to be cool back in the 90s and early 2000s, and eventually they basically decided to sell out to the hip crowd with their stupid Just Dance, and they even destroyed their own hardcore franchises like Assassin's Creed, and they stopped making Prince of Persia games.
Oh, and they
Basically-
desecrated Rayman.
I'm sorry, what?
Oh, and the Rayman incident.
Oh yeah.
Long enough!
Yeah.
So, okay, onwards to...
They won't.
There you
where?
go. No, that's just the dialogue that they were having. But a keen eye
Right.
may spot that there is a sand cloud down there, so maybe so that kind of is a small optional path that you can take in order to see that. Again, it's all about seeing how the level design is constructed and taking advantage of it.
Mm-hmm.
Oops, hold on, there you go. Oh shit. Yeah, here's another thing, especially if in this game the prince cannot stand falling damage, like almost at all.
Which is weird. You'd think that with legs like his that he can parkour,
Yeah,
that
I
he'd be
know,
able to
it's very-
take it.
He's very acrobatic, so why the fuck does he like dies immediately for falling from like 2 feet?
To steal my
Hey, Joe, but
Oh,
exactly back
Tio,
before
Tio. I know
when
why.
Crash died from a small distance in Twin Sanity.
No, Darkstorm. Tio, I know why.
and why?
What?
He's descended from the Graham family.
Wow. You mean the Daventry family?
The Daventry family, yeah.
There you go. That's the path where you should take with the door, but as you see, there's the sand cloud there, so you can just go to the end of the bridge and taking it.
I'm surprised King's Quest 2015 didn't do a joke on how short you can fall to die if you're a male member of the Graham family.
Wait till the remake of the 4 for... What was that game where you guys died by falling down the steps? Was it the 4th or 5th game?
Wait, you're talking about that one where you literally fall from 5 feet and die?
Yeah, I think that was the 4th game.
That's 5. That's 5.
Oh.
But
But,
Dweebs, that mostly because the 2015 reboot thing does not involve acrobatic stuff. Not a lot, anyway.
maybe if we get a remake, you know, one of those fan remakes of the 4th game.
There are a couple ones being made. The problem is that
Wait, a couple?
well, the thing, it's the thing, Joe. But the thing is that after the first 3 remakes, HGDI went on to become an actual professional indie developer anyway. So
Oh,
they
so
kind of
they
moved
can't
on.
do that remake now because what was
They kind of moved on, yeah. So obviously there are other fan groups that are trying to see if they can also make a VGA remake because it's the only King's Quest game that hasn't been remade yet.
Not only that, but now that they're an official company, there may be some more legal ramifications as to whether or not they can actually distribute a quote-unquote fan remake.
no. As long as they offer the remakes for free, as they do, they'll fine. They have a special deal with Activision for that case. As long as they don't charge for them, it's fine.
Okay.
Also,
So as
I love the fact that the dancers have the glowing spot near their asses.
you mean on their navels?
Well, also behind Jova. If you see.
Recently, they're
Right.
right now making Mage's Initiation, which is like a mage equivalent of Quest for Glory. But the one game that they have managed that you can get it on Steam, and trust me, it's hilarious, is Alamo and the Dutchman's Mind, which is basically Larry Suit Larry in a Western cowboy setting, and it's hilarious. It's
Oh
awesome.
yeah, what's that game called again?
Alamo and the Dutchman's Mind.
Alan.
It's on Steam.
Oh yeah, I think I recall seeing a trailer for that. It was hilarious.
Yeah, I showed you. Yeah, like it's the same people again. So so you know that it's gonna be it's literally a point and click adventure in the classic style, and it works so well because
And
the
I
writing
do
is
like
so good.
my westerns. Maybe I'll do that one for the channel.
Sure, feel free, but don't forget to save often then.
Wait, wait, hold
Alrighty.
on. Is this one? Oh, sorry. Go on to you.
No. It has the refinements of modern King's Quest, so it's obviously it doesn't have any bullshit or stuff like that. So don't worry
Okay.
about that. But you
Once
still
again-
should take advantage of the save feature to save
To
often.
see all the
because-
deaths and all that.
Yeah. Go ahead. Tell you what is it?
No, basically the vision showcased how to get out of the next room anyway. But again, keep in mind what the visions are showing you for now, because for now it's just showcasing how to get out of the next room. But in a previous one, if you saw, it also showcased, for example, the vizier and the hourglass. So there may be also showing something.
More.
Oops.
Something more.
I've been thoughts there wasn't something there before.
Yeah, I get the feeling. I get the feeling that if I'm doing this game, I'd like try to explain something, but when he falls, I'd do like the thing. For example, it's like right at the moment I'm just swinging on this pole.
Oh, good. For a
Tears
moment there, I
are-
thought that was an ancient toilet.
BT having connection issues again.
Huh.
Oh,
Is
yeah,
it
he's-
the world's
so-
largest ancient toilet?
So it wasn't just me
Yeah.
hearing him cut out here and there.
Yeah. I could hear him cutting out just a bit, but now it's actually getting worse.
So
So,
basically,
sorry Teo.
at this point, as you can see, Tio's heading
Correct.
through. Oh, now he's found another secret area.
This looks like this looks like the bridge from Avatar, James Cameron's Avatar. I mean,
Because it's blue da da dee da dee da dee, it's blue da da dee da da dee da dee da. Oh look, and now Avatar State. 2 avatars for the price of 1, neither of which enjoyable really.
But the just thing is, I've never seen either of them.
Good for you.
Okay.
Well, okay, maybe not so much Avatars 2009, but
Got you.
Yeah. No, basically what I was saying before is that you can imagine what the worst problem
is.
is everything like a problem.
Just smile and wave, boys. Smile and wave.
sorry Teo.
But hey, it made for a good Madagascar joke insert there.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, we're just moving along, I guess.
There she is.
Try not to get separated again, shall we?
This is what happens when a bit of rubble crumbles underneath your feet and causes you to have to parkour your way out of trouble.
Yeah.
You find yourself separated from your girl, your companion. I forget if they become love interests.
But hey, she's
Well, Teo said to us that apparently it's not exactly how we think things are going, or something. Because I also called that. We'll see. We'll also
Yeah.
have to see then.
Mind, with me, it's been a while since I played this game, so I don't remember all the finer details.
What is this place?
I sense another puzzle platforming section.
so what now?
Simple matter of getting down there. Of course, you have to do it the right way and not the easy way, because the easy way results in you... Well, let's just say most people would call it the coward's way out.
Okay.
So basically,
Alright.
you have to
No,
vault over...
Hold on. Let Teo speak. Go ahead, Teo.
No. Basically, in this room, as you can see, we need to
All right,
move,
you seem fine.
move alternatively the platforms
Yep.
by
Sure.
pulling these levers.
When one pulls
Um,
down on the other, the traps will go, but be careful to time it just right.
Was that a pun?
Maybe.
For a second there, I thought I saw a
Mentioning-
smiley face on those panels.
Oh no!
Oh no, it's an ancient emoji.
Ow.
Hello?
Oh,
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
worry, Gio, we hear you.
We can hear you.
Yeah,
Don't worry.
Okay. Basically, the point is, since
Ooh.
precision button pressing is everything in this game, guess what the worst problem will be?
The parkour
Has to get
button.
just a second off.
Not you're onto something, Dweebs. The answer is input lag.
Oh,
And guess
goody.
what? I guess no. Well, this game is safe, but guess what? One specific game actually has that problem out the wazoo.
Take a
But
guess
again,
which
That
one.
warrior with him.
I'm getting I'm getting ahead of myself again. But yeah, Dweebs.
It's amazing how
I'm-
Warrior
I'm-
Within
I'm
just
ha-
had so many
I'm
things
having
wrong.
I'm having so much rage with that thing.
He's replaying the game, and I've been keeping up with his progress on SSMB. Yeah, that game is terrible.
Which game?
Warrior Within.
I've never even heard of it.
Have you even heard of this particular trilogy of Prince of Persia that we're playing?
Yes.
Not just a bit, but the gist of it is that while these titles sold well, Ubisoft actually saw Devil May Cry and saw it was doing even more than them. So we said, we should try doing something like that.
Let's
so
do
we
it with
tried to
Prince of Persia, of course.
let's try making the Prince.
It wasn't a smart decision on their parts, to say the
Like
least.
Prince of Persia making it.
Your turn.
All right. Marco! Polo!
Hello.
Oh,
Darker. We'll see.
Huh. And there we go.
Oh, well done. Wow.
Now we just have to get across. Only problem is that there's a few guards there. So she'll,
Come
of
on.
course, stay
Come
up
on,
there
Cole.
and arch them.
all right. To the pool. Marco, come on, Deb, say it. Marco,
No, really?
come on, Marco.
No. No.
It's even better in Drake's Deception where he's alone. Marco.
There you go.
So this is one of the few times where she will actually stay in a safe spot and arch them from up there. Oh, nice hit.
Indeed.
I'll give her this. She's definitely still a good shot with that arrow.
More absorbing, more slicing, dicing, etc.
Go.
Come on.
Alright, as Jova mentioned, this room is actually more fair because Farah stays on a higher location, so she doesn't get hurt. Thankfully.
Yeah.
That's good, I guess.
Yeah,
And hey, like I
again.
said, she's a good shot with that arrow.
Yeah, the stun doesn't always get affected immediately, but if it's not one hit, it's actually two. That always depends on the high level enemy, the level of the enemies, pretty much.
Now
But
listening
for
here.
now-
Sorry, go ahead.
no, sorry. For now, basically the gist of it is that for now, these one are actually low level, so they're actually very easy to kill. Later on, they become much
Alright.
more tougher. Go ahead, Pedro.
Listen to me. What's her name again? Farah? Right?
Yeah.
Listen to me, Farah. If I get in trouble down there, I want you to make every shot count. Yeah?
Every shot?
Yes.
Okay.
Sure.
Of acid.
Last of Us reference, Darkstar.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, basically now the next thing to do will be to basically get to the save point in order to see the vision. The gist of it is that those two buttons open, one opens the door and the other raises a column. For now, you just need to raise the column. You will need another box in order to get onto the open door. You just need to push the box onto one of those and just guess which one is the one. There we go. Or maybe not. Hold on. Oh, yeah, here I was just searching for the other box, but for now I just said fuck it and I just placed it on the other button in order to save. The good thing about these save points is that they offer a good time, a good spot for when to stop and when to reprise, because they're good even for the mood breaking of the game.
Mm-hmm.
You're just in a room full of enemies, and you need to solve the next puzzle later on, so there we go. Let's see what this vision actually tells us.
Oh no! Please be careful.
Please be careful.
As careful as you can be going into a golden beam stream like that.
There we go.
There you go. It just told us how to get to the next area, which
I'll
will
start
be
the story
actually
from here next time.
the Royal Gardens.
Alright. So we shall see you in part 4 then.
See ya.
See you then.
See ya.
See ya.